All right, here we welcome back to another episode of the Danalyze This podcast. This podcast is in particular, this guest today, I have had the hardest time getting him on because of life. Not because we haven't wanted to do this, but because life keeps punching me in the fucking face and I've had to adjust and reschedule and adjust again. But before I introduce my guest today, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff on the Spotify's, iHeartRadios, Apple, whatever you listen to a podcast on. I need you to go ahead and leave a review and subscribe and all that good stuff. The YouTube channel is still in the works. That will be coming out soon. So just beware. There's going to be about 85 episodes of content coming down, pretty rapid succession. So that's coming your way too. But without any further ado, this is my good friend, my African brother from another mother, the host of the Feedback podcast. It's the host, Bak. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Good. Yeah, thanks for having me. I know it's a long time coming.
Bro, dude, listen, it's like every time we get something in the books, my wife leaves me, then I change jobs. Now I'm in a new city. I'm like between.
Wait, your wife left you?
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, but it's been like the last month of my life has been very, very hectic. So I'm kind of in a space now where I can kind of settle in for a little bit and just kind of start bringing back consistency to this thing. But without any further ado, bro, how you been? What's going on with the thing on your face? Like, you said you got punched by a Nazi? Like, what the fuck, dude?
No. You know what? Funny. Last night I ran into Brian McDuffie, and he asked me. I mean, when you see a band-aid on someone's face, like you're gonna ask, "Yo, what happened?" Blah, blah, blah.
Bro, you assume the worst. Like, who stabbed you, dog?
No, I know. This is what I told him. I was like, "Yeah, I got punched by a neo-Nazi. I was walking down the street in Round Rock, and then this homeless guy was just like spewing shit. And I was like, hey, man, come the fuck down. And then he pushed me. I pushed him back, and then he clocked me. So I told the whole story, but it's really just a staph infection that happened.
You got the cooties on your face?
Yeah, I've been dealing with like skin issues. It's been annoying as fuck.
But how'd you get staph? Because I've had staph before, and I've only got it through jujitsu. So
no, I don't know if it's staph. Here's what happened. I had this. I don't know if it was a pimple. Well, you know when you feel like there's something coming out, like you can feel the pressure coming in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And overnight, I woke up on Tuesday morning and I looked like half a chipmunk.
Oh Lord.
Seriously. And so it was swollen. There was a lot of pressure. It didn't hurt that much. You know what I mean? But it's still annoying. And seriously, it was this big. And I was like, okay, so hot compress, I don't know how you call it.
You're gonna need some
Rag.
antibiotics. You need to get that thing.
Yes.
drained.
So the thing with the egg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you boil an egg because the egg retain heat. You boil an egg, you wrap it up in aluminum foil, and you put it around a wet rag, and then it's warm for a while.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Potato does the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just cut a potato in half, get the flat surface, heat it up, and put it in a wet rag, and it does the same thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll try potato next time. Let me get my taco on.
Potato does the same thing. And then when you're done, you chop it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Tacos, that's all I'm saying.
I got the egg, I got the potato, man. I'm making a breakfast taco.
If you have some sort of cyst, like at least from having the cooties in the past, and that's what I call staph, I would go get it checked out, especially if it's that swollen. I mean,
yeah, try to get a dermatologist today.
I'm not a doctor, but I could tell you from jujitsu experience, you see a weird pimple on somebody's face that looked like it's not supposed to be a pimple.
Yeah,
you should go see a doctor. At the very least, go get some antibiotics and get it drained.
Yeah, so that's what I'm on. I actually had to pack antibiotics from a test I did a few months back. I went to see two dermatologists. They prescribed me the same thing.
That's funny.
And I was like, I'm just gonna do one and then keep the other one just in case. And then, sure enough, I used it and it's way down now.
Yeah.
I can go back in public.
Yeah, the big thing is like when I had one in the back of my neck. It looked it looked like an ingrown hair, and then it just overnight it blew up to about the size of a knuckle, right?
Mhm.
And it like it was hurting, but it wasn't like you couldn't really pop it. It was just a solid thing. I went to the doctor. The doctor sliced it open, pulled it out, put me in antibiotics, and told me, took it, sent it out to get culture. It was staph, and yeah, ever since then, I still have the scar in the back of my neck where they cut me open,
Uh-huh.
and ever since then, bro, like essential oils. Every time I grapple,
Yo.
I'm like using like the fence and shit. Like all my gear goes from the gym bag to the washer every day that I go. Like it doesn't sit there. Like it's just nasty, bro. I can't. Ugh.
No, it's and you know what? Like dermatology has not made any progress in decades.
No,
It's no, they have not
no.
because here's the thing. Like, so my face was not forget this thing, but my face been puffy for a couple of years now, and I don't know why. No, I have no idea why.
Maybe it's your diet.
Yeah, oh, no, I don't think it is. My diet hasn't changed ever because I
Well,
eat.
maybe it's called getting older, my friend. Maybe now
Oh,
you're
shut up! Don't
sensitive.
bring that shit.
Maybe now you're sensitive to something new.
Oh,
I mean, it's happened to me. Like I used to eat everything. I used to be able to eat everything, like
uh-huh.
no problem. After 30, my stomach says you can't take milk anymore, and I'm like, I love milk. Milk is
Oh, I'm
delicious.
sorry.
Yeah, I know. Now I get boo boo. Now I get bubble guts every time I have milk. I can't really have
Ugh.
bread anymore. Like a lot of things changed for me that I wasn't really bothering me before, which is why I've lost a bunch of weight because I've had to change a lot of my eating just so I can freaking not feel like crap. Like even like from inflammation in my hands, like a lot
Uh-huh.
of it went away from just changing my diet. I'm not saying that's what your situation. Just saying
Nobody knows. They're just throwing shit at the wall, see if it sticks. Like, oh, it's the
nobody,
stress. It's your diet. It's the sun. It's and so
nobody
check this
knows.
out. I was diagnosed with rosacea. You know what rosacea is?
Yes, I have.
It's white women disease.
It's a skin disease.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
skin
mostly white
condition,
women who get it,
mostly white women, and it could be brought on by stress. I know that. Or at least
and it's
I
hereditary. I can't say that word.
inherit,
It's like
inherit,
hereditary. How you say the word?
hereditary.
Yeah, that word. It's that. I can't say some words. I just can't. I can just give up, man.
Oh my god.
And it's also there's no cure.
No, no. They
It's all
treat it.
treatment.
They treat it. And they can keep it at bay, but a lot of those like autoimmune conditions like rosacea and like eczema and stuff like that, a lot of that you can fix that through your diet. And I know it's hard to like it's tough, man. You live in a great city for food. So it's
Yeah, but I
really,
don't eat
really
crap.
tough.
I do
But
not
oh,
eat
it's
crap.
not that, but we're out at the clubs, we do comedy, we
Yeah, I
hanging
know. You know
out.
what?
Eh,
I don't drink
You're
soda.
I don't
I,
drink I haven't drank soda in 6 years, dude.
oh, there you go. I don't
I
drink
haven't drank soda
soda.
in
I
six
don't eat
years.
fast food.
Yeah,
I have
but
maybe one burger a month.
what one burger a month, and then the 6 beers you have throughout the week, and the vodkas, and
The vodka, maybe. Yeah, maybe the vodka.
I don't know.
Tito's is killing me.
The Tito's is making your face a little poofy. I don't know.
God damn it.
No, but it's no, it's for real. Like ever since I'm back up in the DFW
Mm.
for at least temporarily, and in the last 2 weeks, just living on my own, like I've noticed, like there's no crap in the house. There's nothing, to
You
have, and
got to
it's like
cook again?
I don't mind cooking, but it's like now it's like just everything's healthy again. So it's like, you know, there's no
Is it
crap. I see everything kind of like the pounds are falling off again. My skin looks better. I
good?
mean,
Congrats, man.
no, it's I don't know if it's a congrats. It's not a
Well, you're
pretty.
doing the work. That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, yeah. So it's
Hey, let me give you a compliment already, man. This is great. I love it when people just you know take steps
yeah,
to live healthier. That's great. I
dude.
should do it myself.
I mean, it's one of those things where you have to, right? Like if not,
Oh yeah.
especially in the lifestyle that we live, being out in the nightlife and being in the clubs, like it's so easy to fall off, bro. So easy. One day you have a good night, then somebody goes, "Hey, yo, let's go to the halal truck down the street." From the halal truck,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go drinking some more. But then it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you're like, "Yo, I'm
I'm
hungry. Let's go."
I ain't got time for that. I'd say this one thing I'm really happy about is that I don't fall for that shit no more. I'm like, first of all, no disrespect to all the young comics out there, but I ain't trying to hang with 20-year-olds late night,
Dog.
playing poker and telling dick jokes. I got shit to do.
No
I'm an
shit.
adult. No disrespect. No disrespect. Seriously, by all means, you're young. Live it up. Do what you want. But I can't afford to do that.
Shout out to Trevor Kevlar, who's in his 40s. The last time I hung
If you're
out
still
with
doing it, all power to him. If he can still
Bro,
do it, Trev, man, all power to you, Trev.
I love that. I love hanging out with that dude, bro. Last time he was in Austin, we were hanging out, and we started off like around noon. We go, hey, yo, let's go have like an afternoon coffee writing session. Then we go to the club, and then after the club, he was like, all right, I'm hungry. We go have some halal. Then he goes, fuck it, let's go hang out here. And then we're just like, we start off like at the Hilton over off Red River, just having coffee. We end up, I don't know where the fuck we ended, like some sort of on West 6, just hanging out, fucking drinking at a gay bar, getting hit on by random dudes. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even gay. Like, but thank you. I needed the confidence boost. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate.
I need the boost. It's late. I'm gonna regret this tomorrow.
I appreciate you. Like my PP is not hard for you, but I appreciate you for everything that you're saying right now. And no, I won't. It's always a fun time, man. It's always a fun time.
I look, it had the only time it happened to me, not the only time, but like as far as like hanging out with comics, we were at the creek, and we walked. No, we were at Vulcan, walked over to the creek, hung out there for a while, and then somebody said, "Let's go to the strip club." And I'm like, "Hey, man, I've been in a strip club in years."
Which one?
Red Rose.
Oh, okay,
it was Red Rose. And here's the thing: like, I know those people, the managers there, so they're like, "Yo, Bak, anybody?" Blah blah. And I'm like, "Yeah, let me make a couple phone calls." Blah blah blah. And I'm calling my friend, and he's like, "Yeah, just come on through. It'll be fun." I'm like, it's already 1 a.m. So now this is what I hate when it comes to like hurting people, like 5 to 7 people just trying to go somewhere. It's the logistics of it all. Okay, when you get there, talk to this dude, blah blah blah. We get there, and I remember it was me, there's Hans Kim, Dean, Isabella
Charlton.
Yeah, and couple other folks, maybe 3 other folks, but the longer I'm staying there, and I'm like, I got nothing to do here. I should be home right now. This is not doing anything to me. This is not. It's just teasing me for no reason, and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna sleep on a kickstand. It's not a good look.
Bro, legitimately. I have a similar story, but it wasn't with comics. It was actually a couple of, like, when I was finishing my degree about a year ago. I did a late night set at the Roma Room, and a couple of my classmates showed up. They fucking had a good time, and then they go, "Fuck it, we're going to the fucking strip club." And I'm like, I don't go to strip clubs. I'm not a strip club guy. They take me to Perfect 10.
Oh, isn't it nude there? Isn't it like all nude?
Dude, it's wild. Okay,
you got bullet wounds and shit, just walking around like, give it up for Cinnamon.
Wild, bro. Like legit. Like we were hanging out, and one of the dudes that I was hanging out with is like this big time IT guy. Like he has like a high position in a big time IT company.
You want to name the company?
No, of course not, because I'm not gonna.
It rhymes with Shea Smoke.
No, it rhymes with Fortnite.
Okay.
But it's not Fortnite, but it rhymes with Fortnite.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's so he hands me a stack of like straight dollar bills. Like, it's a legit stack about 2 inches deep. And he goes, it's like, go have fun. It was like, you're funny as fuck. You're going to make it one day. Go have fun.
Like that? God
like
damn.
that.
You made it rain or what?
Bro, I go, I don't know what to do with this type of cash. I've had cash, like I've had good amount of money in my bank account before, but I've never walked around like a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never walked around like a rapper. So I go on stage, I throw a couple dollars, right? And because I have this stack in my hand, it's like I become instantly the most attractive guy for the next 15 minutes on stage. And this, bro, all the fucking strippers are like grabbing my hands, putting my hands on their pussy.
Oh, you loved it. You fucking
Bro,
loved it.
it wasn't. I didn't love it. It was just. It was an
You loved it.
experience. It was
Papi, you love that shit.
Cabrón. I'm telling you, it was an experience. It's like it's not something that it's not necessarily something I do on the regular, but I'm like,
Hope
so
not.
this is what money does to pussy. like
Where were you?
So you're telling me all I needed was just a couple fat stacks, you know what I'm saying? And I could have been getting all the pussy and getting pregnant with all these bitches.
Yo, you sound like you were born yesterday.
No, but
This has always been the case.
But I've been married for 7 years.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's
so
okay.
I didn't.
Fair enough.
I didn't get to enjoy my money.
Yeah, it wasn't your money either. Somebody give you a stack, man.
No,
here, and you were the prince, like, here, take that. Here.
No, dude.
This is for you.
So then,
buy yourself something nice.
I finally, so it gets better. This is the funniest part to me. So I get off stage, I throw some money down. I go back to sit down and have a drink. And I'm like, okay, cool, that was fun. I'm balling out, yeah. Then I get one of the strippers, who happens to be Cuban, walks up to me and she goes in Spanish, "Oye, papi, let's go to the back." And I'm like, nah. And she was like, bro, she couldn't dance. She just she looked like a porn star. She looked like 100% like a porn star. But I saw her on stage and she couldn't dance. And I'm like, I know, like, this is a waste of money. You look good, but it's a waste of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna spend money.
Not your money. Not your
my money, but I'm gonna spend money on somebody.
I'm
not gonna spend it on just somebody who's just gonna be like, just shake and just like again, good to look at, not necessarily fun to play with. So,
man,
here's the fun. It changed my opinion on strippers. I'll tell you that.
Here's the fun thing to do at strip clubs. I did that with a friend. We celebrated New Year's Eve there, but like on the 11th, on January 11th, we just went to the Yellow Rose and we sat in the back.
A couple of African New Year's Day. African New Year's Day.
We didn't care. You can say Happy New Year for like 31 days.
I say 3 days after New Year.
Oh, shut up! Now, if you haven't seen the person, you have till the 31st. But anyway, we're in there and we're just ordering drinks and we're sitting in the back, like not near a table, not near like the stage. And we try to come up with background stories for each stripper that goes up.
Bro, they're all
we get drunk. We get drunk on champagne and vodka, and we're like, yo, I'm sure like she's from Ohio and she has 2 kids, and we just come up with these crazy scenarios. Like, this is why she's on stage.
Right.
But I tell you what, the Yellow Rose. So I used to dance. There was a dance studio up on North Lamar.
Okay.
Called Atomic Dance Factory, and I was one of the dancers there, hip hop dance studio.
Yeah.
And before the classes, we'd go down to the Yellow Rose, and we would just get a table, and then get dances and pay the strippers with class cards.
That's funny.
And we'd be like, "Here, come take a class.
Take a class.
Come take my hip hop class. You'll be the best dancer out here." It worked, and it fucking worked.
Hey, that took one way to get actual regular people to come join. Especially with social media, get a couple of strippers to come to your school, dance around. That's how Tenth Planet does it. They find strippers to do jujitsu. They take fucking Instagram videos and they post it on their Instagram, and then all of a sudden they have a gang of students going, "I want those 10th Planet chicks." Those 10th Planet chicks don't really train. They're just strippers who came to do a demo video. Okay, that's the truth of the matter. Okay, ask Eddie Bravo.
Really?
I know things.
So I mean, I don't know if you've talked about your separation on the podcast. I don't want to.
No, I haven't really talked about it. I'm not.
We don't have to if you don't.
No, I'm not going to. It's just I'm when I'm ready, I will tell the entire story. But we're still going through some of this, so I'm gonna respect the process and let it happen. I'll tell you offline.
Sure, if you want to.
So, but, thanks for making it awkward now. Thanks. I don't know if it's congratulations, but thanks for making it awkward.
I mean, otherwise you'd still be in it.
Let's talk about your podcast, the feedback.
Feedback. Like you're back.
So, how long have you been doing that podcast now?
I started in December 2013.
Really? Oh, you've been doing it almost 10
So I'm
years
going
now.
9 years. Yeah, I'm going. I took a year off when
Whoa.
my son was born, but
Yeah.
otherwise consistently 9 years.
9 years. Wow. I remember. So it's at least I was on your podcast at one point. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate it. But you've interviewed some pretty heavy hitters. Why don't you have your own, studio
I bought a house last
yet?
fall.
Oh, that's right.
This
You
is my
did.
studio, kinda. I still setting things up, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I started it. I mean, long story long. The feedback originally was a multi-author blog that I started in 2010,
Okay.
and it was all about Austin nightlife. And the idea was that like 90% of the people I know in Austin, and I've been here 24 years. As of the 18th, it'll be 24 years since I moved here. And 90% of the people I know I met out. They're DJs, artists, bartenders, bookers, door guys, venue owners, DJs, musicians, like all these people I met just from being out. And I would get into these conversations with them, and I'm like, yo, people don't know what it takes to work in the nightlife. They just show up, get drunk, act the fool, and then go home. And it'd be good to tell the story. I'm like, the stories you're telling me as a DJ or as a bartender, so you got to put that out somewhere. So short of doing the podcast wasn't really that big back then, but I was like, let's start a blog, and anybody could go on there and then write stories about the nightlife experiences. So like DJ requests gone wrong, or fashion tips, or hey, this is my review of the show I went to. So I was getting people to like write on the blog,
Oh,
and
that's dope.
and at the same time I was throwing parties every 3 months all over town, different DJs, different theme, fundraisers. And then around 2012, I was listening to podcasts in 2008,
Okay. Yeah.
and then it took me about a year to really figure it out how to work it. And then I was like, oh, you know what? It's easier for people to talk than to write a blog. So that's when I was like, okay, all these people I know, or I got to know, come on the podcast and share your story.
That's
So that was
dope.
the
I
idea.
mean, you were number one at least in Texas for a minute too, like in the rankings, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I,
I can't tell you. I didn't care, honestly.
I mean,
Eh,
that's what I love. It's like ever since I've known you, you just do the podcast because it's something you love to do. You really don't care where you are in the hierarchy
no,
of everything.
no, I don't, because maybe I don't know if I told you this, but like I'm fascinated by people, and I'm good. Like I don't like financially, I'm okay. Thank God. I have a good job. Now I can't really afford to lose the job because I got a mortgage and child support and all that stuff. But
I mean,
point
life,
is,
life
yeah,
happens.
exactly, exactly. And but it's I enjoy good conversation. And so people thought I was doing this feedback thing full time. Like I was doing events and I was doing my podcast and I was making money doing it. I'm like, no, this is me kind of giving back to the city. This is me, you know, documenting, the Austin nightlife. And so having people on like Jackie Vincent or Mayor Steve Adler or music commissioners or the guy who books the hip hop for South by Southwest,
Yeah,
or local comic, that's like, hey, I like people who are passionate about what they do, and I can talk about it for hours because I'll have tons of questions because I'm genuinely curious.
I think that's where we have a kinship because I'm the same way, and I'll tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
I've been podcasting since 2016, some sort of podcasting since 2016. I've changed the name, I've changed directions, I've tried to find my lane, but when I figured out like this specific one, it felt the most authentic because it was just me. Like it's analyzing people, me talking to business owners, entrepreneurs, people,
Yep.
in the comedy space that I look up to, that I feel that are talented, and it's just having conversations in a to me geared in a positive way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's so many podcasts, especially in the comedy space, that they're just people talking shit to talk shit. Like I don't want to be another talk shit to talk shit
Right.
podcast. I've always said I want to have good, positive conversation because we've hung out before, we've podcasted before. You know that I'm one of those guys that I like to be. I'm a super spiritual guy. I'm positive. I'm 100% for family and success and putting out that good energy.
Yep.
And this last year, especially this last year of the podcast, I've basically been taken to school by some of the best comics to ever touch a mic. I've been taken
Hmm.
to school by some of the best writers to ever write comedy, in this space. And it's all, I learned the one thing I learned this entire year, and it's only freaking July, right? This entire year since January, where I released the first episode of season 3, was there is no secret sauce.
Yep.
There is no secret sauce.
Everybody's trying to tell you, "Oh, be the next Rogan." I'm like, just do
No,
you. Nobody's
no,
asking you to be Rogan.
there's no secret sauce. If there's a secret sauce, it's just fucking believing in yourself and hard work.
And be authentic,
Yeah,
just like in comedy.
believing in yourself, hard work, and just be yourself. That's it,
Yep.
right? And it was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna pretend to be, I'm not a fucking witty guy. Well, I am, but I'm not witty. I'm not white guy witty. I'm more like Puerto Rican fucking.
You're spicy witty.
I'm stupid. I'm like what Big Pun calls it. Yo, you stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like that's me. But it's and then just doing all this is like having fun, dude. Like, and because of that, I've been able to book some of the biggest acts in the world on my podcast, and I can't believe it. Like, I really can't. Like, I'm excited that the Tommy Chong episode's coming out.
Oh, congrats on that, man.
This next Monday, and that was another big like lesson for me. As
Did
not
you just
only,
DM him or what? How did you get Tommy Chong?
bro, let's just say there was a lot of emails involved and a lot of prayer. All right,
Okay.
dude.
Well, congrats, man.
Dude,
That's
no,
dope.
it was one of those things. There's like just the stars aligned in the right way, and the first time we kind of missed, and then his agent hit me up and kind of said we'll reschedule. Just something came up, and like Tommy like looked me up, and he really wanted to come on the podcast, and I was like, oh, that's dope. And then basically the stars finally aligned, and I got to sit down with him for an hour, and bro, like to me, it was like talking to some like not necessarily talking to just a famous comic, but it
Mhm.
was like talking to somebody who's been through life and had a lot of advice to give. And it wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily comedy advice, which was
Yep.
interesting. It was like advice for life, right? Like if you have a dream, how to believe in a dream, how to use, like he's like I didn't know he was a Christian. He's a Christian guy, and he, how he uses his faith to help his comedy, and it was interesting to me to hear his story, because we've all heard the Tommy Chong stories of him going to jail and all this and the Cheech and Chong days. He talked about his childhood on my podcast, which was amazing to me. Like I'm like, he didn't even want to talk about the stuff he's already talked about. I was like, let's talk about you. Like I want to know you, what you went through.
Mhm.
And it was just an amazing time. And I was like, I got more out of that than a lot of the other podcasts. Like same thing when I talked to Larry Hankin. When I talked to Larry Hankin, it was um, it was like going back in time to like the early days of modern day stand up comedy.
Mhm.
You have to like when you think about like guys like Larry Hankin, he was on stage with the likes of Lenny Bruce, George Carlin. He was on stage with Richard
Oh shit.
Pryor. He was on stage in New York City with those guys on a regular basis. Like me and you are with the next generation of the of in 10 years who's going to be the best comics, guys like Adam Lucky, Dean Stanfield. We're on stage on a regular basis with these guys, right?
Mhm.
Like you don't know who's going to pop off, but you kind of know. Like a year ago I did a show with Hans Kim. Nobody knew who he was. Now
Yep.
he's everywhere,
He's doing
right?
arenas
You know what I'm saying?
in
So
Vegas. Shout out to
exactly.
Hans Kim, man. He's killing it. Congrats.
So it's like to me, it's like I was literally on stage with him like 3 weeks before he went on Kill Tony, and from Kill Tony, he blew up. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So it was one of those things where it's like, wow, I can't believe that's my life. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen to me, but everything's consistency. And then you find out his story. He's been doing it for 10 years,
Oh yeah.
struggling, toiling. All of a sudden, it was just pop. He popped. So
Mhm.
it's like it looks like it's overnight, but it's
No.
nothing's overnight. He's a 10-year overnight success.
By the time he got here, yeah, he already had like 8 or 9 years in
Yeah,
because
no,
he was in Seattle and then New York, and then he came down here, live in a van and all that stuff.
oh yeah,
And so, yeah, he worked hard.
he
You
worked.
can tell like yeah, he knows what he's doing.
So he came around and he popped, and I was like, okay. And seeing guys like that, I was just like, okay, so it's like I'm on the right track. It's just consistency and grind, consistency and grind, and whenever I get blessed with the opportunity, it's just walking through the fucking door. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't hate. You just gotta, keep doing what you're doing. It should be inspiring, not like inspiring like fuck that dude.
No,
You know what I
it's
mean?
never it's
So
never like that.
unfortunately, I know that happens. Egos get in the way. That's everybody, and in the comedy world, it is a thing, definitely a thing. But I think that when you genuinely root for a community and you're like, hey, we're all in this together kind of thing. Not necessarily kumbaya and all that stuff, but it's like, hey, we're all trying to do the same, practice the same art form right here. So
We out
cut
here
the
in these
bullshit.
trenches, dog. We out here in these
Yeah, cut the
trenches, bro.
bullshit. And there's no need for, oh, fuck that guy and that booker did this and I went to this mic and I couldn't get on and and then you air it out on social media and you're like, you're idiot. Like, how old are you that you can't walk up to a man and go, hey, I didn't like that, let's quash it, let's talk about it. Instead, you got to put that shit out on Instagram and blow up everybody.
Because here's the thing, me and you. I mean, you're a little, you have a couple years on me, but we come from a different generation of people.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like we come from the generation of people that this device wasn't a thing in our daily lives until maybe five, like legitimately,
yeah.
like taking over our lives like 5 years ago, right? Like
Hmm.
I had a phone, but I didn't really have a smartphone to maybe mid 2013, 2015, maybe,
Hmm.
you know, and then it's become a weird thing. But there's a generation of people, and I mean the kids that are starting off now, and they're in their early 20s to mid 20s, that they don't know anything but the fucking iPhone. They don't know anything how to handle conflict and through the fucking internet. And it's not their fault, but that's how they were raised. So they don't
That's all
know
they
how,
know.
that's all they know. So like
Hmm.
people like me and you, we know how to keep our mouth shut and like and keep the things away from the negativity, away from the online world. And it's like, okay, if I got beef with so and so, hey yo, bro, what's up? Like we can either handle this the right way, or we can go the fuck outside and we can figure this out. Like either way, I'm cool with it. And
Hmm.
after this is done, it's done. Like there's no, I don't need this in my mental space. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that that is missing from this generation. And
I mean,
I don't want to say it's a bad thing. I just think it's just different, and it's
yeah, but okay, I see what you're saying. But I think that if you think about it as a community, there are small things that you can do that will go a long way, and people will notice, and people will respect you and appreciate you for it. Something as simple as if you go to a mic or you go to a show, or you whether you're on or not, like stay after your set or come early and watch other people go up. You know what I mean? Uh, you can tell somebody if they did well, like, yo, man, that was a dope set. There's some people who just show up, do their shit, and take off, like they ain't trying to talk to nobody. And for sometimes I mean, it's okay because some people are socially awkward or they don't know they got shit to do or whatever. But a simple, hey man, what's up?
dude,
I don't know, hey, good job, or hey, I like that joke you did about blah blah blah, or hey, when's your next show? I'll help. I'll promote it because I like what you do.
it's
It's little things like that. I think that's missing.
from the production side. I've noticed a lot of people don't want to be involved in something unless their name is on something. You
Unless
feel me?
what?
Unless their name is attached to a show or to a club,
Shit.
they don't want to. They're afraid to promote others because it puts them above them. But that's not how life works. That's not how
No.
life works. That's not how life works. Like I choose the way I choose to give back to not only comedy but to the world that I appreciate, and to the people that I appreciate that what they do is through my
Mm-hmm.
podcast. If I put you on my podcast, I fucking one believe in the crap that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And straight
Yeah.
up, I believe in what you're doing. I don't. This is not about me. The conversation is the conversation, but it's really, I'm exposing you to the small audience that I have in hopes that we can cross contaminate audiences, and one, your profile can be elevated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is my hopes, right? And if that bleeds onto me, cool. If it doesn't, you know what? I did you a solid, and you know what? The universe is gonna pay me back later on. I don't. I that's the way I look at it, because I don't like famine thinking. I've never liked famine thinking. I've always
What is
thought
that? What's famine thinking?
famine thinking is like there's not enough for everybody. There is
Oh, okay.
there is
That's a
enough. There
yeah.
is enough. There's an abundance out there. The thing is, the abundance is only available to you if your hands are open to receive it. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like
And if you
like
give,
and if you give, right? So you don't necessarily have like spiritually, I don't think in Christianity there's the concept of the tithe where you give the first 10% of whatever you make to God, right?
mm-hmm.
But what it really is trust. It has nothing to do with the actual money. It's a spiritual concept of I trust you enough that I can do with less so I can have more later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we treat our relationships, if we treat our money, if we treat our businesses and our endeavors with that tithing mentality, it's like I'm gonna give you my first 10%. I'm gonna highlight somebody else with 10% of my time. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
do something for somebody else with 10% of my time, or give 10% of my money. Bro, I know multi-billionaires in my personal life that they would rather give something away for free because it it does more for them than actually investing in something.
Yeah. Help shouldn't doesn't have to cost you shit. Here's the thing. What I've learned about myself over the past few years is that I kind of knew that, but it really like solidified as a trait recently is that I'm a giver, not a pleaser. I'm a giver. Like I will give my time and my efforts and my network uh, to somebody that I think is doing dope shit. You know what I mean? If I appreciate you for who you are, not for who you represent, just you as an individual, like I like what you're doing, then I will go out of my way and be like, hey, how can I help you? You want me to share your show? I'll share your show. You want me to, hey, just yesterday I was down at Creek and Colton came to me. He's like, hey, I know that you do this, you do a 3-point camera setup at in your studio. Like I'm trying to put on the show. Can you give me some pointers on how to do that? I'm like, sure, this is how it works, blah, 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 blah. Give him some ideas. And it's like, yo, man, appreciate it. If I'm in a position to help, I can't help but help. Like I have to help.
No,
That's always been something that I've done with people that I appreciate. And it's not about, oh, if I do this, then I'll get this back. And then next time I'm doing you a favor. So now you gotta do no, fuck that shit.
no, it's
I
not.
think I know I get it back tenfold. I will get it back tenfold
Thank you,
down the road.
thank you.
And so I'm not worried about that.
That's
That's
exactly.
just me. It goes against my nature, really. That's where I'm at now. And now that I'm also older, I'm like, look, if you need anything, I've lived, I've seen things, I've experienced things, I've talked to people. It's at your disposal if you're willing to fuck with me.
No, it's not only that. It's like you hit it right on the head. Right, is literally when you close your hands off to those things, to those blessings, to helping others, you're impeding yourself from receiving too, because it might not come back to you the way you think it's going to come back to you, but it comes back to you in many different ways, right? Sometimes, like I've had things like spiritually, and this is crazy. You know, at one point in my marriage, we didn't have anything. We didn't have no money to eat,
Mm-hmm.
and because I don't remember exactly what happened, but people would randomly drop off groceries in our front door. I think I told this story on your podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but people would drop off groceries at our front door. We don't know who it was, but people knew we needed. And we had nothing. People fucking dropped stuff off. But at the same time, when it was our turn, we were the first ones to help. We were the first ones to give back to, the community. Like even in comedy, how many times have I, people drop in at my show and I'm like, you want to go up? Like it's not a big deal, go do your set. Like it's about the comics more than it is about the audience. To me, the audience will be the audience. It's an organism that you can kind of just manage. You can't really control. If
Hmm.
they're digging it, they're digging it. If they're not digging it, bro, better luck next time. You
Right.
know, it's
And
but
that's okay.
but I what I loved about what I love about running a room, especially my little room up in North Austin, is that stage is it's for the comics and the audience that's there. It's theirs for those 5-10 minutes, and how they choose to steward that is on them. But I was able to have a stage, and I stewarded it for the comics. Every little bit of money that I made went to the comics. Why? Because I believe that if we have more stages in a city like Austin or DFW, it just benefits everybody in the long term.
Hmm.
Why? Because now you might not be able to get up at the club because you have a day job and you have two kids, but you can still work on the thing that you love doing down the street. You
Hmm.
feel me?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, to me, I was working a full-time day job. I was coaching and I still wanted to do stand up, but I couldn't get down to Creek in the Cave or to Velveeta on a
Hmm.
weekly basis. So I needed to find a way to work. So it's like, okay, if I start a stage, it can't just be for me, it needs to be for the community. And if it's
Yeah.
for the
I
community,
remember. I remember having a conversation with you. Yeah.
I'm like, and if it's for the community, it will grow. And it did grow. Like we had, audiences 50, 60 deep. And that's no joke. I have pictures. And it's like, I'm super thankful for it. And the owners know what I'm going through right now, and they're really patient. They can't wait to have me back. But it's like, because I built it for the community, it wasn't for myself.
Oh, so it's not over.
It's not. No, it's
Oh, okay. Good.
there's a
Good.
show
Good.
next
Good.
week.
No, no, no,
There's a
no.
show next week.
Oh shit, man.
There's a show
Damn it.
next week, the 21st. There's
Yeah,
the
I got my son all week.
I
During
mean,
the summer, it's like week on, week off. No, but I this is my promise to you. I will come and check it out. I don't want to be on the bill. I just want to come and see it.
dude, no. If you're on the bill, you're on the bill. Here's
No,
the
no,
thing:
I will.
we've
I
had
want.
look. I've had comics that weren't on the bill drop in, and I gave them stage time because again, it's not about me; it's about the stage. Like I respect the thing that we love doing, which is comedy, more than getting paid for it. That it's like I think that everybody needs the chance to go up. It's not an open mic. I book a certain amount of comics. Not everybody gets to go up. Honestly, like there's 40 people in the crowd and I see two that I know are working, bro, I'm gonna give it to the two people that I know are working that are gonna appreciate it and
Mhm.
that will that's paying dividends down the road for them and for me as well. It's not just because I see you're an open mic or I'm gonna give you a fucking stage time. It's not like that. I have to have a
Sure,
limit.
you got to
I have
maintain some
I
standards.
gotta I gotta maintain some standards.
There's a line here. This is
But
my
but
room.
like
Shit.
example, right? If Maggie Mayfield, who's not on the bill, drops in at my show and she
Hmm.
wants to do 10 minutes, she's gonna get 10 minutes. You feel me? Like
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
there's a difference. Hans Kim drops in, he wants to do 20. I can't maybe give him 20, but I can give him 10 and be like, hey, I can give you 10.
You know what you're
You know,
talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
Hans motherfucking Kim.
Hans motherfucking. Now Joe Rogan walks in, the whole place is shut down. He can have the rest of the night, pay him whatever money he asks for. Just give me all your cell phones. I'm walking the fuck out. It's like, why? Because he just made my month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
So, but it's a community thing, bro. Like comedy is such a community thing, and it sucks that a lot of artists in the stand up space
yeah. Mhm.
see it as a very selfish endeavor.
Well, it is because you're your own everything,
100, I
and
don't disagree.
in that aspect, it's like, yo, this is for me. Like I'm doing this for me. I'm trying to make something happen for me. But you, like you said, you're part of a community, and so and like if you took the ego out, it would be so much better. But something you can't control that. And some people react differently. You can't. I can't say that I've had anybody, at least to my face, say anything bad about me.
Better not. If
Um,
they say anything bad about if they say anything bad about you to me, then it's not gonna be a pretty
no,
good
but that's so I know that hasn't happened, but I do see a lot of bickering back and forth, like online, and I'm like,
it's childish.
what's the point here? Well, like, what are you trying to prove? That yeah, you're the best comic in Austin? Sure, you can aspire to be that guy, but you don't. That doesn't mean you have to belittle everybody else,
No,
and
exactly. Like
that's all.
it's
Humility, man.
to me,
Stay humble.
like I've said this a million times and I'll continue to say this. My success has nothing to do with the recognition of others, which is nice. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
That's nice. It's being able to live and sustain my lifestyle with what I look for. That's my
Yeah.
that's my success. If I can do that, shit, I'm a happy motherfucker. If that means I can go to New York, if I can go to New York tomorrow, live in New York for a month, do stand up, make a little cash along the way, come home,
Mhm.
still pay my rent and feed myself, I'm a happy man.
Doesn't take much.
It doesn't. Well, it takes a lot of hard work. That's what it
Well,
takes.
well, yeah, that's what I mean by that. But I mean, it's like, look, the opportunities are there. It's
Oh
a
yeah,
matter of going and get them and working hard at it. That there's no secret here. And the thing is, like, even for myself, like I know I I know I should be out there more, and I try to be as much as I physically can because I'm doing like 25 different things, including raising a kid, trying to get my house together. I have to deal with that shit. I have to deal with separation, and I don't want those to sound like excuses. It's literally things that I can't afford to fuck around. I can't afford to hang out till 4 in the morning.
I
I
feel
can't
that. I feel
I
that.
can't
Like
I can't even I can't even afford to lose my job right now because I got so many stuff to pay for.
things high risk. It's high risk right now. You know what
No,
I'm
it
saying?
is. It is, but I
Gas
think it's
prices don't make it
manageable.
easy. That's all I'm trying
Oh,
to say.
God damn. Look, I live in Pflugerville, yo. So just going down there is like, God damn, I just spent
Bro,
$20.
I was in Northwest Austin. Just the thought of going to downtown, I'm like, eh.
No, no, no. See, that's okay. Okay. That's where I'm like, you know what? I will spend the gas money to go down to Creek or go down to Velveeta or go down to Vulcan and then or just go wherever that there's a show because one, I get inspired by being around comics. I get inspired by watching professional comics. Last night I went and saw Eric Griffin
He's so
at
good.
Creek, and I was like, I've seen this stuff like online, but I never seen it live, and I was like, holy fuck. Right after that, I went to the back and I started like writing stuff. So I get inspired by being around creative and interesting people. So I need that. If I need to drive all the way from Pflugerville to downtown to get that, I will fucking do it. And if I tell you, somebody says, "Hey, I got this show coming up. You want to check it out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there." If I say I'll be there, I'll fucking be there.
That's facts. You've done it to me a bunch of times. It's funny because I've been doing the road a lot more in recent months,
Mm-hmm.
and being on the road is a different animal than being just the local comic.
Yeah,
And
that's true. I totally
you
believe
know,
it.
like going to San Antonio, going to Dallas, going to Missouri, going to Oklahoma, and kind of doing like they're not big shows. I'm not, but
Yeah,
it's a different thing. It's all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's perspective, right? Everything's perspective, and like it's added to my comedy, and it's added wrinkles to like the comedy game. It's like if you train boxing at one gym and then you travel to a new city and you just wanted to drop in at a different gym and they have a slightly different style, so you pick up a new technique and you're just like, oh, now I can bring this back and just fuck with people when I get back. You know what
or
I'm
you get
saying?
crushed and you're like, I gotta step my game up. This some heavy
Exactly.
hitters over here.
That too. Like it's like going to a different gym and you pick something new up, and or you get smashed, then you got to go back to the drawing board. It to me, it's just a different level of sharpening, and it's an amazing thing, and I'm excited to see. Like I'm blessed. I say I'm very blessed. Because at 4 years, I'm not supposed to be doing the shit that I'm doing, and I
Nah, don't
see
say that.
yeah, it's
No, 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 no. I won't let you say that.
appreciate it.
There's no
Appreciate
there's
it.
no such thing as I'm this, so I'm not supposed to, blah, blah, blah. If you love it and enjoy it, fucking do it. Whoever says otherwise, say no. This is not. That's not how you
No,
just operate. How you operate.
so it's like I did my first headlining gig in Springfield, Missouri, about a month ago,
Nice.
and bro, I've never been treated like an A-lister in my life. Now, mind you, it was like a C club. It wasn't even. It was like a 50-seat room.
You had the snacks and the bowl of fruit in the green
Bro,
room.
bro. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Was it Kit Kats or was it
Yeah,
actual
bro.
berries?
Listen to me, sir. So, I get to Springfield, Missouri. It wasn't the Blue Room. It was a different comedy place. I don't think it was a legitimate comedy space, but it was like
Hmm?
they advertised it as a comedy space. And the producer, which is also a good friend of mine, Rico, he busted out the red carpet, bro. He introduced me to like the owner of Dick's Sporting Goods, who lives in Springfield, Missouri. Uh,
Oh,
he like took me to like this fancy ass cigar shop. I
is
had
his
a,
name Dick?
I think it's Robert. So yeah, it might be Dick. It might be Dick. But he took me like I smoked like the most expensive cigar I've ever smoked in my life, like that day, and I didn't even know it was an expensive cigar. It was like, hey, bro, this is a Davidoff. It's a $50 stick. You best enjoy this. And I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know. So it was like it was a whole experience of like, oh, this is what could potentially happen if I continue working.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I need that in my life because I'm a happy guy without the material shit. But like the recognition of like, oh, we see you working, we know your value, we're gonna treat you as such. That's way more important to me than somebody buying me a bunch of shit. It's like, no, no, we see the value, we want to treat you as such. And I think that's what every artist wants to feel at one point or the other. It's like, oh, you see my value, treat me as such. That's it. I think if in any line of work, you see my value, treat me as such. That's what they say. Shut up, pay me, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Shut up and pay me, motherfucker. That's what matters. You
Well,
know? Yeah.
the thing is, it's okay. I think it's a natural response as a human being to see someone else do better and feel like, oh, I deserve that. I think it's a natural response because you're like, I don't, you're trying to rationalize it and be like, I don't get it. I'm grinding. I'm out there, I'm showing my face. I'm writing. I get on stage, I tell my jokes. And here's this motherfucker who's been doing it for less time than me, who's getting gigs all over the place. And it's natural to feel like,
Fresh
yo,
face syndrome is a real thing.
yeah. But I mean, you recognize that in the moment and you're like, oh, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. All power to him or her. I should step my game up so that I can get to that or do better. But I think that if you don't get past that initial response where you don't, where you go, oh, well, fuck that dude. How come he gets, 10 minutes and I only get 3? And I think I've been working just as hard and blah, 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 blah. And then you go, oh, wait, hold on. All power to him or her. Let me focus on me. To get to that second phase, not everybody's able to do that.
It's I think it's at the end of the day, all that matters is knowing who you are as a person and
Mhm.
recognizing how you react. It's all about emotional control on yourself, right?
Sure.
Like it's easy. Like it's easy, right? Like I always go back to like jujitsu. Like jujitsu is always like my analogy for life in a lot of ways, where you know you're the guy at the gym. You've been there for 5 years. You've been ranked by the black belt. You're the senior student. You're not
Mhm.
the black belt, but you're like a salty purple belt, maybe a brand new brown belt. You've been there for a minute. Then you
Mhm.
get this new guy that wrestled in college, D1, D2, comes in, is not ranked, but he's wrecking house. But you've been working hard too, but he's been working hard and you just don't know how hard he's been working before he got here.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, he might be doing it. He's only been doing jujitsu for a year, but he wrestled since he was 4. It's a different fucking grind, right?
Yeah.
It's like when I see comics that are hot early in life, right? Like early in their career. Then
Mhm.
you find out, oh, they were theater students. No wonder. You know what I'm saying?
Improv. They were
Or
improv
or they
kids.
are
Yeah.
improv. Oh, no wonder. you've been writing hip hop songs since you were 14. Makes sense. Like
Right.
you start digging back the layers, and you're like, comedy's just the next progression for you. Like I've only been doing only comedy for 4 years. You've
Mhm.
been doing artistic shit since you were in the fucking womb. Like there's
Yeah.
levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when
Mhm.
you start peeling back the layers, it's like, oh, if this isn't hate, doesn't mean you're better than me. You're just a little more seasoned right now. But don't worry, I'll catch up. I'll get mine. That's the way I've looked. Like when I changed my way, like when I first started 4 years ago, I used to be like, fuck that. I'm funnier. Blah 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 blah. One
Yeah,
day
the ego, man.
no, for sure. And then one day I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I found out that he was a theater student. He was in art school. That he was a performer his entire life. He was like, yeah, I've only been doing comedy a year, but I've been performing my entire life. And then it clicked on me. Oh, this this is not the same. It's not the same. To
Mhm.
him, this is theater. To me, this is comedy. For him, this is just another progression, and he's gonna
Right.
excel.
But he's overcome like the fear of getting on stage and talking to people, like being the center of attention, like what it takes to get to a level where you're comfortable. Everybody's looking at you, waiting for you to do something or say something, right? If you've been doing theater for years, you already know how to do all that. The rest is just writing good jokes
Exactly.
and then performing that.
Oh,
But
oh, oh! You've been acting since
oh
your
yeah, you
second
used
year.
to people looking at you and you're supposed to deliver something. Like you
Oh,
used to
oh,
that. You're over that.
you've been a stripper for 6 years. I get it. You've been naked on stage. It's okay. You know,
Oh,
like,
you're a dancer now. Look at you. You're part of this dance crew.
but
You
it's
were a stripper. Makes sense.
like when I started looking at life like that, I was like, oh no, no, no. They might have only been doing stand up for a short
Mhm.
amount of time. And then you go back and you peel the layers off. Oh no, no, they were doing this since teenagers.
Yeah.
And now they're in their mid 20s and they've been performers for 10 years, and you've only been performing for 3. Yeah, there's a discrepancy there. Of course, 100%. They're supposed to be, and it's normal. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that they're artistically better than you. It just means they're just a little sharper right now.
That's all. That's all. No hate. Just say good for you and keep it moving.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
It's really that simple. Like that. If you know what, every time I get into this conversations about the art of comedy, and I've actually had comics who've been doing it longer than me talk to me, be like, look, you sound like you've been doing it for a long time. And I'm like, no, 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 I have not. I'm a humble man. Like I'm what, 3 years, something like that, 3.5 now. But I I feel like I know what it takes because I've talked to so many comics and I'm a student of it, and I know how to be humble and I know how to connect with people on an individual basis. And I appreciate people who are passionate about what they do. That's just how I am. So I've been lucky, very, very lucky, to talk to professional comics. I mean, I can name drop. I probably told you about Godfrey. Paul Verzi. I've hung out with Joe DeRosa. All these guys, Dan Soder, and then we talk, and I'm like, and when I hear them when they talk about their life as a comic, I just absorb, and I'm like, yeah, there's no secrets, and this is just a grind like anything else. But I think that people lose sight of that, and when I talk to them, they're like, how are you so wise? How do you know so much about the art of comedy and you only been doing it for 3 years? I'm like, because I've absorbed a lot of comedy in 25 years to where I can speak to it like I've been doing it, but I have not. I just know. I get into this conversation with Rebecca all the time, and we just geek out, and then she's like, oh yeah, you get it. I'm not there yet, but I get it. And I think a lot of young comics actually lose sight of that. But you know I
Hey,
enjoy it nonetheless. I
hey.
get inspired when I go see a show or while I'm on the show. Doesn't matter to me. I'm a
So
fan first.
so I like asking a couple really important questions on the podcast
Mhm.
when it comes to artists, and you're an artist and you're a podcaster. Number one, you've already kind of talked about how you write. You go to the club to get inspired, and then you write. Now, where do you see your comedy in 5 years?
In 5 years, I would say definitely get out toward the cities because I'm curious about other scene. Like I hear a lot about the New York scene because my favorite comedians are from New York.
Of course, mine too. I think the
Yeah,
best comics in the world come
no,
from.
I totally agree. No shame in LA and down south, but I think New York comics are the best comics. Um, I think in 5 years I will have like, okay, this is a back set. This is what back does.
Mhm.
Possibly sooner. I'm still trying to figure it out if it's, because there's different, and sorry if I'm taking a while to answer, but there's different lanes. Are you a one-liner guy, or you're a storyteller guy, or you tells personal stories, or you doing family shit? Because there's so much I can touch, but I still want to make it mine. You know what I mean? Like I want to tell jokes that nobody else can tell because it's me. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I love it. I love it. I love that. That's.
I mean,
I
I,
think
I've
I feel like I have a very similar goal. I mean, I have a way more ambitious goal, but I
sure.
definitely have I have I think I'm already doing what I wanted to 5 years ago, which is have a decent set that I can go and travel around with. Now, I know that it needs work, but I think
Mhm.
every comic, I don't care if you've been doing it for 25 years or a year, we all say it's not finished. We always say it's not finished. Like it's still working on it. It's not finished. It's been working, but it could be better. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's how we are. That's who we are as artists. Um, but like for me, it's like like ultimately is I want to be able to live full time comfortably off of stand up, but I want to record a special in my hometown. That
Yep.
is,
That's yeah. I'm with that. I'm with that too.
I want to
I
record a
want to
special
have
in my
like
hometown.
this is my like record of me doing comedy.
You
That's
know,
yeah, definitely. I'm with that.
obviously I have other goals for the podcast that
Sure.
we all you like again thinking the business model of comedy in 2022 is kind of three pronged. You need social media, you need a podcast, and you need to perform.
Wait. You think you'll take you 5 years to record a special?
I've been doing it four, so another 5 to 6 years. I think maybe I'll be ready.
So to get a full hour, or you trying to just do have a solid 30 and record that? Because
I
I
would
mean,
do 30 or an hour, maybe a little longer, just because if I'm gonna put out an hour, I want the hour to be killer, 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 killer,
yeah,
killer, killer, killer.
of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or even if it's something like when I think about, so I'm a big visualization guy, right?
Hmm.
When I think about where I want to perform, uh, where I want to, how I want my special to look in my brain, and how I see it being marketed it one day, and all this is subject to change. But there's always visualizations and goal settings, and I'm a big believer in doing those things. I always look like my favorite special of all time is John Leguizamo's Free. That is my favorite special
Yeah, we
of all
talked about that. I love it. Yeah,
right.
I
That is
love
my
it.
favorite special of all time. And
Uh-huh.
when I look at the way he kind of did that, I don't want to copy him, but I want to pay homage. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I want to figure out a way that one day when it's my turn, when it's my time, to say, whoever's producing it, whoever's filming it, I'm like, you see that? Like that, but different. you
There's the
know,
bar. There's the
it's
bar.
like it's like it's
Now,
like I want
make me look like that.
I want to have that grunge feel that he had in that '99 special, but I also want it to be me. I want people to be like when they see, oh, that's Papi, oh, that's Daniel Gonzalez, oh, that's
Mhm.
Danny, that's him. It's like, yeah, you could tell his influences are Richard Pryor, this, that, or the other, but when you see that, you see 100% deep. You see Danny. That's what I want. The long term visions, right? Those are big time long term visions that I meditate on. That I every time I write, I'm like, what do I want to say to an audience 10 years from now that'll make sense even if the jokes seem dated. And it's because I, as a comic, I don't just see the joke. I see the entire piece of art. I look at example Dave Chappelle. You look at his like last four specials, they all have a theme. They're all together. They all make it's, he's telling a long-term story.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling those honestly.
Well, I know you weren't, but
I'm a nerd, man. I'm like at this point, he's a social commentator where anything that
yeah,
comes out of his mouth is
he,
funny. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Dave Chappelle, and I've seen him many times live, but it's not.
he's in
I'm
his George Carlin phase of his life.
I think it's beyond that because even George Carlin's last special, it's bad for you. It's still look. I'm telling jokes here. Chappelle now is like he's transcended that where he actually has thoughts and ideas he's trying to articulate to make you think, but on a level that's not just dick jokes. And let me tell you about the hood. Let me tell you about my family. It's not on that level no more. So, but I'm being such a comedy nerd. What resonates with me is I can hear a joke, and this is why I go to shows, and I can hear a joke, and as it's being delivered, I pay attention to, oh, I see why he used that word and not another word. I see why I saw him twice in a row, two shows back to back. I see why the joke changed from the 7 o'clock show to the 10 o'clock show. How did he switched the words? Oh, he moved this way when he said that. I analyzed everything, and if the product, the result of it all is like, holy shit, this is a well-crafted joke from the physical to the delivery to the tone to the punchline, the setup, everything. I'm like, yes, now I'm enjoying myself. I'm laughing my ass off. But if you just
That's
talking
why.
and
That's
comment
why.
on stuff,
That's why
I'm
I
like,
like.
okay.
That's why I like Bernie Mac, right? Like for a while, I was
Mhm.
studying a lot of Bernie Mac, and what I especially like after Kings of Comedy, Bernie Mac, like that period in time where he was still touring and he was just
Yeah.
kind of like there's videos of him that I would play in on mute because I've heard his material, but I play on
Take your
mute.
ass. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Like
You don't understand.
yeah, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You don't even understand.
Nah, yeah,
I
I love that
look
one.
good. No,
I'm
but
being boned. I'm blessed.
I'm blessed. I ain't scared of you. Anyway, um, but like right before he got diagnosed with his with his disease of with his lung disease, he put out a special, and I forget the name, but I was playing it on mute,
Mhm.
and him as a seasoned veteran in comedy at the time, for the first 10 minutes on stage, he didn't even touch the microphone.
You notice that. And that's for a reason. That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
of that is
Like
calculated. You don't realize as an
he,
audience member if you're not a comic, but there's a method to the madness here.
and he's like he's sitting there with his towel, just patting his face, talking into the microphone, using his hands, and then all of a sudden he picks it up, and you could just tell while watching it on mute,
Mm-hmm.
the energy level kick it up a notch, and you're just like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
And then knowing how great he was from his Def Jam days through the Kings of Comedy days through through his sitcom days,
Mm-hmm.
how great he was. The dude had a knowledge of what they in the wrestling, the pro wrestling world they call crowd psychology. That he had such a knowledge of that he could have been in any room in America and he would have had that crowd in the palm of his hand.
You know who does that well too? Earthquake.
Oh yeah.
Shit, man. I've been a fan of Earthquake since the early 2000s. I have two of his specials on DVD. And by the way, it's coming next month, the Cap City. Yeah, I'm not no, yeah, next month on the early August. I'm not missing that shit. But he's one of those guys that he ran his own club in Atlanta for years as a host and basically developed his entire act by hosting the show. And the guy was like, yeah, I don't know how to run a club here. You run it. And he just took it over and ran it for years. And I haven't when I did you saw his latest special Legendary? The amount of tags he has after each punchline. I'm like, how much longer is he gonna go? And they hit every single one of them hits. And I'm like, this is not somebody riffing.
It's like somebody. It's like Red Fox. Remember, like
Yeah.
old school Red Fox. Like Red Fox would just start. Ba 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 ba. If they didn't laugh hard enough, you're like, it's okay, you can laugh. Ba 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 ba. And
Yeah.
he just attack and attack and attack and attack, and then they're dying, and then he slow down, take a lick of his cigarette, and ba 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 ba. It's
I love it, man. It's a I don't think who okay.
it's like
Here's what
watching
gets
a
me.
great fighter. It's like watching
Yeah, exactly.
it's like
Exactly.
watching a great fighter. It's like watching a
And
great fighter.
you don't even know you're being like hypnotized right now by this joke. So I'm more of a like bit kind of guy than just set up
Yeah.
punchline. And I appreciate that more when I see professionals do it. So if you set up a premise and the entire bit takes 7 minutes and you're taking on this road, you don't know where it's going. You set up with some stupid shit as a premise and then you break it down and you feel by the end of it, like this is how far you can stretch this thing. This is how far you can stretch it. Like you've taken the time to figure out a puzzle to, okay, based on this one simple ass idea, I can stretch this joke for 10 minutes. And then by the end of it, you're like, holy fuck, what just happened?
Dude,
That's what I like.
it's a different level, bro.
I know it is.
It's like
That's what I'm trying to get at.
like to me, Joey Diaz is that type of guy too. Like Joey Diaz is the dude that'll be like, yo, let me tell you about my mama. Right? And he goes off on like 10 different stories about everybody else and then goes back to his mom, tells two things, goes back to everybody else. And it's all related because it's really not about his mama. When he says his
Mhm.
mama, he really means family.
Mhm.
You know, and I love shit like that. Like to me, like I try to write where I'm super personal with my material. Like it has to come from me and like my heart. Like if you've seen my set, like it's part of I'm giving you a part of my heart when
Mhm.
I'm on stage. But I need you to know, like, if I'm laughing at this, it's okay. You can laugh at this. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next. Bach, we've been on here
Back.
for back, like back, like espalda.
It's,
I'm just gonna call you espalda from now on. Okay, espalda. Oye, espalda, que es la que hay. Okay, look, listen. Go ahead, plug your socials. This has been a wonderful conversation.
no, thank you for having me, man.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
you.
hanging out. You're one of my favorite people in all of Texas. So anytime you want to
Oh
come back
wow.
on, so I appreciate it. Go ahead, plug your socials, plug your podcast shows. Blah.
So follow the feedback BAK because that's my name on Instagram. That's where I post most of my shit. I would say also follow Hip Hop Bingo. That's the music theme game show that I produce. And it's been kicking, and I got more coming up probably within the next couple months or so. So follow Hip Hop Bingo on Instagram. Other than that, check out the podcast, the Feedback Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Like I said, I've talked to a lot of people over the years, a lot of comics, professional comics, local comics, basically people I enjoy talking to, like you, Danny. And yeah, check out the archive. It's a good time. Again, I ain't got no Patreon. I ain't got no sponsors. I don't give a fuck. I do this because I love it. I do this because I believe in people. I do this because I like to connect with people. So check it out. That's all I got to say. And Papi, I'm so proud of you, man.
No, I appreciate you, man.
Keep doing your thing.
Dude,
When you coming back down?
I'll be there this upcoming weekend. I have a show over with Josh Castro at Casa Moreno's July 23rd, baby.
All right.
And I'll probably come down Thursday to check to the Slacker show. I've been going anyway, don't want to get too personal. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll eventually really talk about what's going on in my life in this period right now. Eventually. But without any further ado, guys, give it up for Bach. Follow him, give him all your likes and love and all that good shit. Don't forget to Just drive safe. Listen to the podcast. Have a good night.
Thank you.